PHXRisingFC.com. Phoenix Rising versus New Mexico United, May 31st. Be there.
Meet Barkley. When Barkley smells gas, he leaves fast. When Barkley hears hissing coming from a gas appliance, he leaves fast. When Barkley sees dirt or water shooting from the ground, he leaves fast. Barkley then calls 911 and Southwest Gas from a safe location.
Did that dog just grab a phone and dial 911?
Gas lines can be buried anywhere, so remember to call 911 and Southwest Gas.
Hello, this is Jan at Toyota.
Hi, Jan. Is now a good time to get a new Toyota for summer?
It is. We like to say your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer.
Yeah, I'm a pet sitter and business is way up as people enjoy their new Toyotas.
Your summer starts here.
Oh, that's the Walker's pet parrot, Mr. Knowles.
That's me.
They packed up their new Corolla and took a trip to a national park.
Well, through June 2nd, everyone can join in on the summer fun with a great selection of Camrys, 4Runners, and more.
Yeah, the Johnsons strapped a canoe onto their new Grand Highlander and went out to the lake.
Shh, quiet, Lou.
And Mark and Sarah loaded their gear into their Tundra and went scuba diving. Oh, no, stop. Sebastian, Goldie is not dinner.
Fish for dinner.
No, stop.
This is bad.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Good luck.
Your summer starts here.
That's right, Mr. Knowles. Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer with a new Toyota, but it all ends June 2nd. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, Luis Gonzalez here. Want to bet? Feel the thrill of Casino Arizona with 1,400 of the hottest slots and nonstop table game action. We make winners, no experience necessary. Join us for the best bingo in the valley with daily sessions. Indulge in all-you-can-eat Eagles Buffet or enjoy fine dining experience at the award-winning Choyo Steakhouse. Enjoy top-notch local entertainment, tribute bands, and viewing parties at CAZ Sports Bar, just off the 101 in McKellips. Casino Arizona, uniquely Arizona.
Today we celebrate all of our hard work, late nights, and the most craveable Raising Cane's chicken fingers and cane sauce that got you through it. So get out there and commemorate this moment with a grad plush puppy. Because you've earned it. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
A much needed, stress-free, wire-to-wire victory last night for the Arizona Diamondbacks that at least allows us to breathe for today. Welcome in. Tuesday edition of the lunch break right here, KDUS AM 1060, streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app. You can also watch the program over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel, back up with the video version today. Chris Schubert with you for the next 2 hours on the program. Got producer Evan behind the glass, taking your phone calls, 480-864-1060. Also hear from him throughout the course of the program. But it was a stress-free night for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And not just for the Arizona Diamondbacks, but it was a stress-free night for all of us watching the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that is where we will start today's program.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
I'm not going to make this out to be a result of victory more than it actually was, because producer Evan summed it up very well yesterday. The Pirates stink. This is not a good baseball team. This is what it's supposed to look like when you play a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's supposed to be free and easy. It's supposed to be stress-free. It's supposed to be wire to wire. You're not supposed to have a game come down to the final at-bats in the 8th or 9th inning. You're supposed to comfortably beat a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates. So you did what you were supposed to do. But the Diamondbacks haven't been doing a lot of what they are supposed to do as of late. And so last night was refreshing. Last night was something that the team needed. They lost 5 in a row going into last night's contest. And not just 5 in a row. They've given games away during this 5-game losing streak. They gave away a game in the series against the Dodgers. They gave away multiple games against the St. Louis Cardinals. And so they needed that get-right victory. They needed a result like last night where You're reminded that baseball is fun. You're reminded that what you do for a living in playing baseball is supposed to be enjoyable. For us as fans watching it, that it's supposed to be stress-free at times when a good team like the Arizona Diamondbacks plays a bad team like the Pittsburgh Pirates. So that was sort of therapy for all of us yesterday. Collectively, we got to breathe a sigh of relief. The team did, Torey Lovullo did, and we all did watching that game last night because we got to see Ryne Nelson be dominant, 6 2/3 scoreless innings with 4 strikeouts and 4 walks, and a bullpen that it says here in my notes, it says here in the box score, a bullpen that didn't give up a single run last night. Is that allowed? You allowed to do that?
Yeah, I didn't know that until last night, but yes.
Your bullpen is allowed to just get out.
You can continue a shutout with a bullpen.
So
that is completely allowed.
It's within the rules. The starter doesn't have to get all 27 outs by themselves to keep the shutout.
No.
Bullpen's allowed to contribute.
But by rule, you do have to load the bases at least once.
Yeah, we couldn't have a totally stress-free day. We had a brief amount of stress there in the 8th inning. Just had to remind us a little bit of what we've all been going through over the last 2 weeks. Just a little brief reminder, but it also provided an opportunity for Justin Martinez to remind all of us of how great and dominant he can be. Because after blowing the lead on Saturday, he gets handed a real tough spot. That's a tough draw. Hey, Justin, your second appearance back after having some shoulder issues. Could you work us out of a bases-loaded jam up 5-0 at home? Could you make sure that this one doesn't get close? The splitter was working. Fastball hummed up there. I think he got it up to 102 at one point on the broadcast radar, and he looked like the old Justin Martinez. So start to finish, with a little road bump in between, Diamondbacks were able to cruise to a nice series victory a series opening victory against the Pittsburgh Pirates. A game that we all needed last night. We needed that to feel good about this team being able to turn it around. And it got started with Ryne Nelson, who was excellent last night. 6 2/3, so got you 20 outs. It's kind of a magic number, right? Get to 20 outs, you're asking for 7 outs from your bullpen every single night. That feels more manageable than the stress that Torey Lovullo has been under, trying to get 9 outs, 10 outs. You need double-digit outs from this bullpen right now. Your stomach churns just thinking about it. So last night, you only needed to get, what was that? 7 outs from your bullpen?
Yeah, I actually couldn't believe they pulled him. Through, I don't know why they didn't let him finish the Adam Frazier at bat.
It was only at 84 pitches. He didn't get himself into any trouble, right? I mean, he got the first 2 outs relatively easily.
Had one of the guys got on in the 7th, then you make a change, but right away?
Yeah, I was a little surprised when he started the 7th inning, and the broadcast was talking about when they were going to go and get him. And they were talking about Brian Kaplan and his role, and before the game, especially in the case of Ryne Nelson, this is a guy who, the beginning of the season, was your long man. You were trying to keep him stretched out to be a starter, but he can't go 100 pitches the way Corbin Burns can. He can't go 100 pitches the way Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly. You can't ask that. So you have to have a sweet spot. And before the game, this was probably towards the higher end of that sweet spot, finishing with 84 pitches. And so it felt like they wanted to steal, feels too strong of a word, but just get as many outs as they could out of Ryne Nelson, but also, and they talked about this on the broadcast, get him another up-down, meaning he had to sit down for a little bit and then come back into the game, because that's where you lose some stamina as a starter if you're not used to doing that when you're a reliever and you're pitching just 1 inning at a time, maybe 2 innings at a time. Those up-downs are important. And so it felt like they wanted to get him that extra up-down, but clearly they did not plan on him finishing the inning, because once he got the first 2 outs, they didn't even give him the chance to get out of it. That's nitpicking a little bit. I would have liked to have seen them try to let him finish it out, but they clearly went into it with a plan, with a design, how many pitches they wanted him to throw, what inning ideally they got him out of the game. And so it felt like the plan came together last night for them. And we saw Ryne Nelson just be dominant. I mean, he faced 24 batters. He threw 18 first pitch strikes, got ahead, pounded that fastball, and truthfully never got himself into any major trouble. Over 6 2/3, 4 hits. And the most important thing across the board for Ryne Nelson is that 0 he threw up in the walk column. Because guys are going to get hits on you. Okay, you're not throwing a no-hitter every time out. But it's those free at-bats that you give to the opposition. It's those inning-continuing walks where you have 2 outs and now you walk a guy to extend an inning, and now you've worked yourself into some trouble. He didn't do that last night. The 4 hits over the 6 2/3 didn't work himself into any serious trouble, threw a ton of strikes, 54 strikes of his 84 pitches, and first pitch strikes, 18 of the 24 batters. Again, getting ahead in the count, building that confidence, and being in attack mode. And you saw Ryne Nelson in attack mode last night. And trust me, we'll talk about Ryne Nelson a little bit later on, because I don't want to hear about Eduardo Rodriguez taking over this spot when he comes back. And I know it's up in the air of what this is going to look like, but no thank you. Ryne Nelson, excellent last night for the Diamondbacks.
O'Neal Cruz led off the game with a double, and nobody reached second base for the rest of the time while Ryne Nelson was on the mound. Also, he never saw 2 runners on base at the same time during his entire start.
And that's what happens when you have 4 hits.
Those numbers say enough.
You don't walk anybody. You don't have any hit by pitches. You don't extend innings for a team that, let's face it, yesterday you talked about how bad this offense was. Not a good offense. An offense that they got to work really hard to score runs. Don't make it easy on them. For an offense that has a tough time scoring runs as it is, don't walk guys. Don't allow guys to take an extra base on a pass ball. Don't hit guys. Don't extend innings. Don't give them free run-scoring opportunities. Ryne Nelson did a great job of that last night. Now, it was not all pretty for the Diamondbacks, even though it was a 5-0 win. 8 men left on base, 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So the situational hitting still at the forefront. But you got zeros from your bullpen, even though Scott McGough tried to make it interesting. I stopped myself. But I almost texted producer Evan when McGough loaded the bases up in the 8th inning and just texted him, here we go again. I stopped myself because Justin Martinez was coming into the game, and I wanted to be more optimistic that he was going to be able to come through in that spot last night. But at 5-0, because we said this yesterday, with a team that situational hitting has been a problem lately, and a bullpen that's been coughing up leads left and right, we said you probably don't feel good unless it's a 6, 7, 8 run lead. We said this on yesterday's show. It's 5-0. And Scott McGough starts just loading up the bases. And I'm thinking, they lose this game, they're not getting up from this. You don't get up from losing.
No,
this
that you don't.
You don't get up. 6 in a row at home, you blow a 5. Like, you don't get up from something like that. And the worst part is that thought crossed my mind, but I stopped myself. I didn't send the text message. I stopped myself.
By the way, how many times with this new, since the 3-batter minimum, do you see a pitcher come in, not record an inning, a third of an inning pitched, have 2 walks and give up a single and not give up a run? Like this is the craziest box score of all time. He is, innings pitched 0.0, 2 walks, a hit, no earned runs.
McGough comes in the 8th inning. We get an error from Suarez that gets IKF to first base. Then we get a pass ball that moves IKF to second. You walk O'Neal Cruz. You walk Andrew McCutchen. And now the bases are loaded with nobody out. And Torey Lovell is like, really? Really?
By the way, the only 3 guys in the lineup that could ever do anything, Reynolds is one of them. Like, he's a professional player.
So now, bases loaded, nobody out. Justin Martinez comes into the game, and you face the one guy in the Pirates lineup, maybe outside of O'Neal Cruz. I know he's not having a great season, but it's the one guy you don't want him to face is Brian Reynolds from the left side of the plate. He's got the power. You can see it. One swing. This is 5-4. You're like, how did we get here? We were cruising. We were coasting to a victory. Now, luckily, Justin Martinez looked great yesterday. Dominant. The splitter looked awesome. He had some nasty bite on it. He got Reynolds swinging with a splitter. It was ball 4. I mean, it was a full count to Brian Reynolds, and he threw him a splitter that was ball 4. If Reynolds lays off, it's 5-1 and the inning continues, and there's a rally started by Pittsburgh, but threw it close enough to where Reynolds had to protect and swung over the top of it. It was a really great pitch by Justin Martinez there.
A lot of confidence in that splitter to throw that count, bases loaded.
And that's probably the biggest takeaway from Martinez's appearance is not just that he got out of that jam, but in that at-bat. That's the at-bat. That's the at-bat that determines the inning. Because now a ground ball, I'll play for 2 because I'll trade a run if we can't turn the double play. Yeah. But I'm going to try for it.
You change the complexion of the inning by going to, hey, let's go to double play depth. You just give yourself so much freedom.
And to get the strikeout
by getting one out
against that guy in particular gave the confidence, and I loved him throwing that pitch in that spot. So really good to see Justin Martinez pitch that well. Really good to see Ryne Nelson dominate the way that he did. And I know that it's the Pirates, but this isn't just the Pirates. He's made 3 starts this season. We'll share a little bit later on the numbers, and they're very telling. The opponents that he's faced and the numbers that he has put up. Ryne Nelson is delivering for this team in a big way right now. Want to hear from you today? 480-864-1060. You want to join us on the phone lines? You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Michael says he's happy to see us once again live on YouTube. Hello, Michael. Hope you're having a great start to your Tuesday. When we come back, the second round started with 9. Have 2 potential candidates separated themselves? It's next on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. T&Cs apply.
Stevie Nicks.
One special night, October 7th, PHX Arena.
Would you love to love her? I will pray to
Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Stevie Nicks. Live at PHX Arena.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 five-star Google reviews from across Arizona. Like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
Every summer, across the valley, hundreds of our homeless neighbors die because of the heat. This is tragic, and it is preventable. None of us can stop the heat, but together we can save lives. With incredible partners like you, Phoenix Rescue Mission is able to provide life-saving water and critical care to our neighbors in need. Join us this summer and make a difference. Learn more at phoenixrescuemission.org/code red.
Jim Rome here, the Rome Report. Let me start by saying, go New York, go New York, go. And Nick fan, given how much I love the over-the-top, out-of-control, frenetic obsession you have for your club and how long you've waited for this moment, you just keep on keeping on. Keep doing you. Unless doing you includes mobbing up and dumping a bunch of garbage on and accosting that one Pacer fan that seemingly was minding his own business. Granted, rocking enemy gear in that environment was not the best idea, but it does not give you the right to go all sanitation engineer on this guy's backside. Stop doing that, but keep doing you. Now, I'm not saying the Knicks are the ones to beat. The OKC Thunder are. I'm not even sure the Knicks are the ones to beat versus Indiana, although they are favored. What I am saying is, if they can somehow string together 8 more performances like they did in closing out the Celtics, why not New York? In the meantime, Nick fan, just enjoy the ride. I know you will. I'm Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. You need parts? We got parts. Product availability? Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select brake pads for $10 more, or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or import direct pads for just $20. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We've got trade wars, rising costs, global chaos, and a skyrocketing national debt. It's no wonder gold keeps hitting record highs. With everything going on in the world, thousands of hardworking Americans are looking to help diversify their savings with precious metals like gold and silver. And they're turning to the top-rated gold company, Goldco. Right now, Goldco is offering you a free 2025 gold and silver kit. Plus, you could get an unlimited instant match and bonus silver if you qualify. Find out how you can diversify your savings, tax and penalty-free today. Call 855-969-GOLD. That's 855-969-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
We'll continue our discussion about Ryne Nelson in about, 12 minutes from now, whether or not he has secured himself a rotation spot. Welcome back in. Lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. We got producer Evan behind the glass, and the meticulous Phoenix Suns coaching search continues. And it feels like we're getting close to this being narrowed down to just a couple of finalists. Round 2 of the Suns head coaching search. I mean, listen, it takes a while.
The alignment.
You don't just align immediately. It takes a little bit. There's some work that goes into that. And the Phoenix Suns, to their credit, have been putting in the work. Crossing T's, dotting I's, casting a wide net, which is exactly what we wanted to see from this head coaching search. Take your time. Get this right. You haven't gotten it right in the past. Maybe because you haven't taken the time to do this the right way. And this is a very important first step for Brian Gregory, because whatever you make of Brian Gregory and him being the new general manager of the Phoenix Suns, he has to work in tandem with whoever they get to be this next head coach to build out this roster, and it's going to be a heavy lift. This is not an easy retool. This is not an easy process. And so you want some synergy. Perhaps trying to think of a word that can describe what you want between your head coach and your general manager. What's another word for synergy, producer Evan? I want the head coach and the GM, they need to be on the same page. They need to be... It's on the tip of my... if there's only a word...
I feel like we've heard this one before, have we?
I don't know. Is there a word that you're thinking of?
Yes. And give me a second here, and I think 3, 2, 1.
The alignment.
The alignment. Yes, alignment. That's the word. Yes, alignment. You need alignment between your head coach and your GM. All kidding aside, you need those guys working on the same page, speaking the same language. Gregory knows what the coach wants. The coach knows what Gregory is looking for, and they can impart this new culture onto the rest of the team and whoever is a part of this team. So I got no issue with them taking their time. I've got no issue with 9 guys making it to the second round. I have no issue with them interviewing as many people as they have. I know some people think when you put a bunch of names on a list, it can become almost cartoonish. I don't think so, not with this coaching search in particular. So we're down to 9 names. We've talked about our favorites among those 9, and it feels like some favorites are beginning to emerge. Mark Stein, NBA insider, wrote this yesterday, quote, "The Suns are expected to narrow their list of coaching candidates to 3 or so finalists as this week unfolds. There have been rumblings in coaching circles that both Miami's Chris Quinn and Dallas's Sean Sweeney have made strong impressions in the interview process to date among the numerous assistant coaches that the Suns have spoken to since the process commenced. So Sweeney and Quinn making a strong impression. The third name that has made a strong impression is Jordan Ott from Cleveland. Now, the worry there is that's the one guy that has the Michigan State connection of this group. But Chris Quinn, the top of my list. Number one on my list of the 9 candidates of who I would want to be the next Suns head coach. I am betting on pulling somebody off of the Miami Heat coaching tree. I believe strongly in pulling somebody off of that Heat culture. Not because we need Heat culture here in Phoenix, but I need somebody who has been around stability, who has been around
the alignment.
Spoelstra and Riley working together to build a roster in the hopes of winning a championship. And Chris Quinn has had a front row seat to both of those guys. We would all agree Eric Spoelstra, one of the best head coaches in the NBA right now, right?
Probably the best.
We would all agree Pat Riley, from an executive perspective, considered one of the people you would want to pick his brain on how to build an NBA team, right?
Certainly.
Chris Quinn, front row seat to both of those gentlemen. That's the type of guy I want for the Phoenix Suns. So he is still my personal favorite among the 9 that are left. So it's great for me that he is one of these potential finalists. Now, Sean Sweeney, on the other hand, I am still incredibly skeptical. I am skeptical because Sweeney has seemingly only followed Jason Kidd around in his coaching career in Milwaukee, in Brooklyn, now in Dallas. And I don't feel that same feeling about grabbing somebody who's worked with Jason Kidd as I do grabbing somebody who's worked with Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley. I don't think we view the Dallas front office in a very fine light right now. Ask the fans in Dallas how they feel about Nico Harrison and their front office. So between the two, we don't know how either of these guys are going to be as a head coach. So the only thing I have to go off of is their experience. The only thing that I have to go off of is their reputation. The only thing that we can go off of is where they come from. What does their resume say? And I'm sorry, a resume of somebody who has been trusted by Eric Spoelstra, has been promoted by Eric Spoelstra, has been the right-hand man to Eric Spoelstra for a really long time. Yeah, that guy jumps off the page for me. That guy is head and shoulders above the rest. Now, we said last week, hey, you may love Chris Quinn. He may be at the top of your list, but go through the process. Allow somebody to potentially win you over. Be open to any of these 9 candidates landing that great impression. But it feels like Chris Quinn just continues over and over and over again. His reputation speaks for itself. His references speak for himself. I've got 2 candidates that I'm trying to promote to a position that they've never held before. Neither one of these guys has been an NBA head coach. And so I've got 2 resumes that are very similar. Assistant coaches at a super high level, have been around teams that have made playoff runs. So what's the tiebreaker? The tiebreaker might be the references on the resume. And the references for Chris Quinn are a lot better than the references for Sean Sweeney. The references for Chris Quinn are a lot stronger than anybody else's references on the list of 9. There's nobody else who can put down, talk to Pat Riley about who I am as a coach. Talk to Eric Spoelstra as to who I am as a coach. Nobody has that resume. And you want to say I'm leaning too much into the Heat credentials? That's fine. But you know what? That is a stable, winning organization that has won championships, that has stayed relevant, has gone through rebuilds and retools and changing the construction of their roster and has still remained a threat in the Eastern Conference. So I'm buying into that. I'm buying into Chris Quinn having a front row seat to all of that. And then when he gets his chance to be a head coach,
put his own little spin on it. So hopefully by the end of this week, we're down to the last couple of names here. We still got Micah Nori and Dave Bliss, who are still coaching in the postseason, but it appears as though the second round of interviews are all done. So now it's just whittling it down to the final 3 or 4 who are going to move on to the next stage, the next round of interviews. What type of questions do you think you can ask in the third round of interviews that you didn't ask in the first 2? What's left to talk about? You probably covered it in the first 2, no?
I don't know if it's as much about questions as it is about I don't know.
Getting that one-on-one FaceTime. You're probably doing these virtually right now, so you get that one-on-one FaceTime.
Bring them in the building.
You bring them in the building. You take them out to dinner. You see how they react.
You might have them interact with players.
Yeah, maybe. Or you do maybe a little bit more when you're able to meet with them in person, and you don't want to do that for all 9 candidates. You probably want to have a select group that you do that with. Perhaps you can do what the Washington Commanders did a couple of years ago with all of the guys that they were bringing in for top 30 visits. They brought them all to Topgolf to see how they interacted with one another. And then that's how they decided on who to take in the draft. You're looking at me like you don't remember this story.
I remember it. I just don't know if that's the team I'd be following.
They went to the playoffs last year. They're doing pretty well.
First time in what, 25 years?
I know, new owner though, new quarterback. They did it again this year too. I think it was with all the quarterbacks they did that with. All of their quarterbacks that they brought in for a visit, they took them all to Topgolf to see how the competition was, how they interacted with one another, and it was in that scenario.
Here's my thought.
Stuck out,
and I get that, I do.
No, it was a terrible idea.
But my only thought process is if every report and every article says Jaden Daniels is the second best quarterback in the draft, and then they pick him at second, guess what? They don't deserve any credit because any Joe Schmo would have picked him second overall.
I was just trying to make a joke that they took all their draft picks out to Topgolf, and you veered us off so that you can criticize them for taking Jaden Daniels.
No, it's not.
I don't understand.
First of all, it's not criticizing them. I just think that I'm tired of people getting credit for taking quarterbacks at 2 when the whole world knew they were going 2.
Yeah, it was a foregone conclusion that if Caleb went 1,
if Mariota was great at 2, it'd have been okay.
Yes.
They don't deserve credit.
No, they don't deserve credit. But their unique way of interviewing all of these quarterbacks
is still a bad idea in my head.
Still a bad idea. 480-864-1060 is the phone number. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Perhaps you're streaming us on the KDUS AM 1060 app, or you're listening to us on KDUSAM1060.com. Make sure you listen over there for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks against the Washington Nationals on Saturday, May 31st at Chase Field. It's Domo's night at Chase Field. Get your Geraldo Perdomo bobble on May 31st, courtesy of Chaz Roberts. We got your chance to win the 4 tickets. You want the bobblehead, you got to show up early and beat everybody else. So we've got the tickets for you. You want the bobblehead, you got to wake up early, be there before everybody else. I'm not doing that part for you. We'll give away the chance to get the 4 tickets. And you got to be listening on the app or streaming us on the website. Make sure you're registered and logged in over there so that you can enter to win. When we come back, Ryne Nelson, he was fantastic again last night for the Diamondbacks. Has he forced their hand? That's next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Ghost World Tour 2025. Ghost Theatrical Heavy Metal Arena Rock. August 11th, Footprint Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Ghost.
Ooh, Del Taco? Yep, they got these new boxes that are loaded with my faves.
Big boxes, come on, can I get a Del, yeah?
Del, yeah. What was that? Oh, I bring these guys everywhere. Really enhances the experience.
Introducing El Big Boxes from Del Taco. Choose from the $5 Classico, the $7 Mex Faves, and $9 Amerimex box.
More food, more flavor, more value. Only at Del Taco.
Price of participation may vary.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics 602-837-7246 in Phoenix, Scottsdale, Peoria, and Chandler. That's 837-7246. 837-7246.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
You don't need lunch. You need a lunch miracle. You need Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet, starting at $9.99. Think about it. A dozen people, 15 lunch ideas, and only an hour to eat? Lunch miracle to the rescue. Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet has fun and deliciousness served fresh. Choose from pizzas, pastas, salads, and desserts starting at $9.99 a person. The next time you need a lunchtime miracle on a weekday between 11 and 2, look no further. At Peter Piper Pizza, the fun is baked in.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
We've got buy or sell coming up in about 10 minutes from now. Welcome back into the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Ryne Nelson, fabulous once again last night for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Has made 3 starts now this season. He's thrown 16 innings, has allowed 10 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts. Has a 1.68 ERA and a whip under 1 at .93. The 3 teams that he has started against for those 3 starts, the Mets in place of Corbin Burns, and then the last 2 starts against the Dodgers and the Pirates in place of an injured Eduardo Rodriguez. So yes, you could tell me that he threw 6 2/3 scoreless against the Pirates, and I shouldn't make a big deal out of it. But what are you going to say about the start that he had against the Dodgers and the start that he had against the Mets? And the Dodgers start, we highlighted it at the time. It was a week removed from Eduardo Rodriguez's start against the Dodgers. That was the dreaded 14-11 game where the Diamondbacks gave up 6 runs in the 9th inning and blew a 3-run lead. So the next time out against the Dodgers, Ryne Nelson was in place of Eduardo Rodriguez, and it was night and day. A sub-2 ERA in 3 starts against the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Pirates. Shout out. I think it's our favorite Twitter page.
Has to be.
I mean, we reference it so many times on the show because the job...
At least 3 times a week.
The job that this account does is incredible. D-back, stats, and info. Eduardo Rodriguez, the last time he had a 3-start stretch where he allowed 3 earned runs or fewer, so exactly what Ryne Nelson just did over his 3 starts, was April 29th, May 4th, and May 10th of 2023, when he was still in Detroit with the Tigers. He allowed 1 earned run in 3 starts at the end of April, beginning of May in 2023 with the Tigers. So over 2 years ago was the last time that Eduardo Rodriguez had a 3-start stretch that is even close to mirroring what Ryne Nelson just did for the Diamondbacks. And Torey Lovullo was leaving it open before the game about what they were going to do with Eduardo Rodriguez when he comes back, and not really saying that it's Ryne Nelson's spot. And then afterwards saying that it looks like Nelson's probably going to get one more turn through while they see what's going on with Eduardo Rodriguez. Let me make something very clear. Sports Talk Radio is about takes, about hot takes. I try to not do that. I try to just give you my opinion, and hopefully it's rooted in some level of common sense. And this one is rooted in a ton of common sense. Eduardo Rodriguez does not deserve his rotation spot back. This spot belongs to Ryne Nelson. If this franchise wants us to take their season seriously, if they want us to think that this team still has the goals and aspirations of being not just a playoff team, but a team that can make a run when they get to the playoffs, Eduardo Rodriguez cannot come back and replace Ryne Nelson. What message are you sending to the rest of your team? What message are you sending to Ryne Nelson? What more does Ryne Nelson have to do to prove to you that he is the better starting pitcher between the two guys? Eduardo Rodriguez has thrown 94 2/3 innings with the Diamondbacks over these 2 seasons. He has a 5.99 ERA. How much more do you need to see? Because I saw the second half last year by Ryne Nelson. I've seen the 3 starts this year from Ryne Nelson. I watched last night from Ryne Nelson. Have you seen anything from Eduardo Rodriguez this season that is even close to what we saw last night from Ryne Nelson? Anything in the same zip code as what we saw last night from Ryne Nelson? Oh, but he's had some bad luck. Ryne Nelson is definitively the better pitcher. Definitively gives the Diamondbacks a better chance to win. And here is what to me is the deciding factor in all of this. You right now have a bullpen that is a clown car. It is a circus every night. A 5-0 win. You started to hear the circus music play in the 8th inning last night. If you want to win baseball games, one way that you can mask a bullpen that isn't very good is you have starters who go deep into a game. You have starters that throw up a bunch of zeros. You have a starter that goes 6 2/3 and doesn't allow a run. Eduardo Rodriguez isn't doing that. Eduardo Rodriguez isn't making it easy on your bullpen. Ryne Nelson is. Ryne Nelson makes it easy on Torey Lovullo to deploy his bullpen. Eduardo Rodriguez makes it difficult for Torey Lovullo to deploy his bullpen, and it is a bullpen that you really don't want to be deploying a whole lot right now. So Ryne Nelson is the better pitcher statistically. Ryne Nelson is the better pitcher in terms of the length that he gives you. He's the better pitcher when you consider the struggles that this team has right now with their bullpen. He gives you a better chance to win. Somebody has to give me one good reason why Eduardo Rodriguez should get his spot back. I'm sorry. He doesn't deserve the spot when he comes back from this injury. That spot now belongs to Ryne Nelson. We were already talking about it before Nelson made these 2 starts, that Erod was on thin ice. We were giving him maybe 2 more starts before we were going to have a serious conversation about whether or not they needed to make a change. And at the time, it was tough. You didn't have Justin Martinez. Your bullpen, again, clown car. So Ryne Nelson, was he better suited to be a reliever for you, a multi-inning guy that could be a 7th and 8th guy, give you 6 outs instead of your relievers that are only giving you 3 outs? The injury happened. Nelson slots in, and he's faced the Dodgers and the Pirates in the 2 starts since. And he has. This is more important than anything else. He hasn't just been good. He's been great. He has made you honestly go, why hasn't he been in the rotation the entire season? I need somebody that is on that side to convince me why Erod deserves this spot back, because he doesn't. This spot, not just in pen, in Sharpie, should have Ryne Nelson's name on it.
I don't know. In my head, I'm trying to go back to spring training and be like, where did they see it? Because in all of their outings, I haven't seen Eduardo Rodriguez look as confident, or as a fan, as a viewer, I have never felt as confident in Eduardo Rodriguez as I do in Ryne Nelson right now, or every time he heads to the mound.
Before the season in spring training, if you wanted the tiebreaker to be you're paying Eduardo Rodriguez a lot of money and it's year 2 of his contract and you want to see if he's able to work through it, I don't love it, but I can understand it in the spring. Now the wins and the losses matter. It's now about to be June, and this is a 500 baseball team right now. I can't afford to try to fix Eduardo Rodriguez. And we're going to talk a little bit later on about what they do with Erod if Ryne Nelson keeps this spot. And I have to put if on it because I don't know what they're going to do. I know what they should do. They should make this Ryne Nelson spot, because unless there's an injury, there is zero reason why Ryne Nelson should be removed from this spot. This isn't Corbin Burns coming back from the injured list. This isn't Merrill Kelly. This isn't Zach Allen. Let's use the team they're playing. This isn't Paul Skeens coming back. This isn't a bona fide Cy Young candidate that's returning from the IL. And, oh, yeah, you're a placeholder. No. When Ryne Nelson took over the spot, everybody knew, man, if he pitches really well, this is going to create a bit of a controversy. Guess what? Here we are. The controversy is in full swing, and it shouldn't even be a controversy. This spot belongs to Ryne Nelson, especially if he's got more starts like last night in the tank, because I don't think Erod has starts like that in his tank anymore. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. When we come back, closing up hour number 1 of the program, buy or sell. 5 takes. I'm either buying or selling the takes. They come from producer Evan. We'll do it next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind. Oh, my. Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, Peter Frampton. Let's Do It Again tour, June 25th, Arizona Financial Theater. Grammy winner, the one and only Peter Frampton. On sale now at livenation.com.
Baby, I love you.
Maybe it's time to expect more from college. More opportunities and fewer barriers. Discover Maricopa Community Colleges, the Valley's most accessible higher education provider. With 10 colleges and more than 600 career and degree programs, we're committed to making college work for you. We provide affordable, high-quality educational opportunities that are accessible to everyone. Discover what makes us different at opportunity.maricopa.edu.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. But our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, we'll start hour number 2. Questioning whether or not we undersold how good of an offseason the Arizona Cardinals had. Got some numbers that may tell a different story than the one that you expect. That's how we'll start hour number 2 of the program. Welcome back into lunch break right here, KDUS AM 1060. ASU baseball this Friday night, 5:45, pregame right here on KDUS AM 1060. Tim Healy will have the call. First game of the regionals out in Los Angeles, and then depending on win or loss, will dictate what time they play on Saturday. So for those of you ASU baseball fans out there, you're going to be able to hear it right here on KDUS AM 1060 starting at 5:45. First pitch at 6. Same thing on Saturday, whatever time the game is, it'll be heard right here on KDUS AM 1060. Buy or sell? 5 takes. I'm either buying or selling the take. Don't know what's coming. Producer Evan always tries to keep me on my toes, makes me think. So without further ado, my friend, take it away.
All right. We will start locally. The D-backs are bound to go on an extended winning streak at some point this year that will turn their season around.
A buy. It's the kind of the way baseball works. You get streaky, right? You have a losing streak that you wish you could turn some results around, but then you have that nice winning streak that makes you forget all of it. And you certainly look at this series against the Pirates, potentially the Nationals coming up right after that as a chance to go on a little bit of a run, and winning last night the way that they did. Very calm, cool, collected, despite the 8th inning and the mess that they made for Justin Martinez. It was a wire-to-wire, pretty comfortable win. Josh Naylor hit his first home run in a while. They drove in some runs, 5 runs after an offense that was relatively quiet for a little bit there. So, yeah, I'll buy this. They're going to go on a run at some point. You just hope that when they go on the run, it still matters. Because every team's going to go on a run like this. Even the Colorado Rockies will probably win 2, 3, 4 games in a row. Even the Colorado Rockies. They'll find a patch. You know what? I take that back. Maybe the Colorado Rockies aren't going to win. They're on pace for like 27 wins. Maybe we'll scratch that. The Pirates can go on a little bit of a run. Much better team than the Rockies. So every team's going to do this, or most teams are going to do this. It's just when you do it and when it matters. You never overreact to things you see in the first month and the last month of a baseball season. So you go on a run in the end of September. Everyone goes, watch out for that team next year. Not really. It's when you go on the run that matters. I'll buy that this team will go on the run. I just hope that it comes at a point that matters.
Okay. Cardinals will try to make at least one more, quote, bigger move for the start of the season.
Sell. They're fine. They're going to be comfortable with this roster. Do I think they'll make some additions, bring in some veteran depth, maybe give some guys a look here and there? Yes, that's what a good general manager does. You're always looking to tinker with your roster. You're always looking to add some depth. I think in the wake of the Sean Murphy Bunting news, there could be a additional corner that gets added to that room. But overall, main moves, I think this roster is pretty locked in at this point. Now, an injury can change that, right? Somebody goes down, unfortunately, with an injury in training camp or in preseason. That changes the equation a little bit. But right now, no. All of the big work is done. I think they're comfortable with this roster. So a big move, a big splash, a very notable move, I do not think is in the cards.
I do think, though, they could end up making a trade for a corner. Name, I don't know. Probably a depth piece, but I do think they'll end up making some kind of move, add some depth in the corner room.
They will add people to this roster. I just don't know if they're going to be notable. Here's the way I will describe it. I'll go inside baseball here for a second. Will they make a move that on its own we dedicate one entire segment to? The answer to that question, I think, is no. So that's why I'm selling the take.
The Suns are going to trade Kevin Durant, and it's going to be to the Philadelphia 76ers.
So if I buy the take, he's going to the Sixers. if I sell the take, I get the field.
Yes.
I will sell the take and take the field. I almost always take the field in these types of questions. Just always a better bet. I don't think the 76ers are really interested in trading the number 3 overall pick. And if they're not trading the number 3 overall pick, are they really going to be that active? They are running it back, right? Mostly. So trading Paul George?
Running it back to me means they're going to try and trade the number 3 pick.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I mean, you want to talk about a team that's more lost than the Suns? The Sixers.
Both of those teams are on very similar paths. Trusted the process in Philadelphia, followed the timeline in Phoenix. 0 championships between both of those teams.
Maybe it just doesn't work.
Maybe it just doesn't work.
With that being said, the Suns will be in the play-in or playoffs next season.
The Suns will be in the play. So the bare minimum to buy this take is the Suns need to make the play-in tournament next year.
Yeah, you have to be a top 10 team in the West.
Okay. I want to make sure I have the number correct. How many wins did it take to get into the play-in tournament last year in the Western Conference? It took 39 wins from the Dallas Mavericks. The Suns finished with 36. See, here's the interesting thing. The Suns are going to trade Kevin Durant. The Suns are hopefully going to move on from Bradley Beal. So talent-wise, they're not going to be as talented of a group as they were last year. I think they're going to be a better, more cohesive basketball team. Team is the key word there. I think they're going to be a better team because they're going to be more
The alignment.
be more aligned. So I think they're going to win more games. This is one of those things where if I do this and I say what I actually feel, it's going to come back to haunt me. Because we're recording all of these shows. I can never run from a take that I say on the air because these shows are podcasted. It lives forever. I'm buying this. I'm buying that the Suns will be a play-in team next year.
I knew I knew that's how that was going to go. And it was exactly what I wanted out of that buy or sell. All right, the last one's pretty weird. This one's out of left field.
Just real quick, can we go back to the last one?
Yeah.
I'm buying this because I think they're going to actually have a coach. They're actually going to have
And
a team.
you've been the biggest Brian Gregory fan.
Oh.
I mean, you've loved him since the day they hired him.
Since day one, nobody has been a bigger Brian Gregory fan than I. So they've got a great GM. They're going to get a great head coach. So, I mean, I've been on this since day one. I think they're going to be a team. And if you play good team basketball, I mean,
it's hard to be worse than they were last year.
They were 36 and 46, and they were worse than that. They were a bad, fundamental basketball team. How many games could we circle? We made the list for the Diamondbacks this season. What would that list look like for the Suns?
I mean, it'd be 20 games long.
That they just gave away because they didn't play good team fundamental basketball. I think just on that alone, they're good for a couple more wins.
I truly believe they'll have less talent but win more games.
I will buy this. The Suns.
I don't know if they'll win enough games, but we'll see.
They're a play-in team next year. Buy it.
Okay. Suns headed to the play-in. That's number 4. Again, number 5, out of left field. But I'll start with this was the discussion between me and my buddies yesterday sitting around the pool.
Okay.
I am claiming that the American League West has been the worst division in baseball for a decade.
This is the definition of out of left field. The AL West has been the worst division in baseball for the last decade.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 2 teams in there that won championships in the last 6 years. The Astros and Rangers both have won titles.
Yeah, but, and I hate to throw a diss at your Jets. Since the year 2000, the the AFL, AFC East.
AFC, you said AL West, did you not?
No, I did. The AL West. They've had teams win championships.
2 championships.
The AFC East is the worst division in football over the last 20 years, despite the Patriots going on a dynasty.
Oh, you're okay. So now I see. You're making a cross-sport comparison.
Yeah.
I see. Yes, but you've had the Rangers who have always been in there. The Astros. I'm trying to think of a division that's worse than this, though.
The only other argument is the NL Central.
And it might be the NL. Or it could be the American League Central. Other than the Royals in 2015, there's been a whole lot of nothing.
The Indians had great years in there.
I'll sell the take. It's close, but I'll sell the take. Hour number 2 of the lunch break coming up next right here, KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Rivalry Night is back in Phoenix. Phoenix Rising faces off against New Mexico United on Saturday, May 31st at 7 p.m., and the heat is on. Tickets start at just $15, and fans can take advantage of the special $4 3-3 menu featuring a $4 all-beef hot dog, $3 Modelo, and $3 Arizona lemonade. This one's personal. This one's loud. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now at phxrisingfc.com. Phoenix Rising versus New Mexico United, May 31st. Be there.
The legacy continues. Pantera. The heaviest tour of the summer.
What you say?
Tearing up Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, August 26th. With Amon Amarth. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
At Shane Company, we love a spring engagement, but you might be wondering, how do I find the perfect engagement ring? As a trusted family jeweler since 1929, we get asked this a lot. We have a wide selection of ring settings, like vintage designs with romantic details, floral settings inspired by nature, and classic styles with clean lines and sleek metals. Dreaming of the most beautiful diamond you've ever seen? At Shane Company, we handpick only the sparkliest center stones in all shapes and sizes, from oval to round to marquise, and more. We have gorgeous natural and lab-grown diamonds at competitive prices, in-store, ready to compare side by side. Drawn to certain colors? We're known for our rainbow of vivid natural sapphires, including shades of blue, straight out of a fairy tale, handpicked by our owner, Tom Shane. At Shane Company, we have the best free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, plus resizing, repairs, and cleanings for life. Visit us at shaneco.com or in store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We have unlimited data that never slows you down, covered by the Verizon 5G network, and all for less than $30 a month when you get 4 lines. And the best part, we give you a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G when you switch to the 5G Unlimited or 5G Plus Unlimited plan. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
12 o'clock hour of the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060, the KDUS AM 1060 app, and on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Chris Schubert here with you, hour number 2 of the program. Appreciate all of you joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. The Arizona Cardinals, we are 100 days away. 100 days away from the start of the NFL season. Days are going to fly by in the summertime, and then football is going to be here, and we're going to be breaking down games and making picks, and it's going to be Football Fridays here on the show before you know it. 100 days away from the start of the football season.
It's going to be glorious.
So I can start playing this music all the time on the show. Just, even though it doesn't matter what we're talking about, I'll play the NFL music. That we are 100 days away from that. 100 days away from the picks. 100 days away from the NFL look ahead, the NFL rewind, all the stuff that we do here on the program. 100 days away. And we're also excited for what this Cardinals season can be because it was a very busy offseason for the Arizona Cardinals. Made a lot of waves, made some big splashes, very active in free agency, very active in the draft, improved their roster. How did we all read the Cardinals this offseason? Where did we think the Cardinals were at as a franchise? Because I want to make the case to you today, and I'm going to use some numbers to back it up.
I'm a huge nerd.
that the Arizona Cardinals perfectly read where they were as a franchise and who they were as a team. And because of that, because they knew exactly where they were as a franchise and who they were as a team, they have set themselves up for what should be a fun season in 100 days. Overthecap.com, one of my favorite NFL websites. Breaks down contracts. You see salary cap space for all these teams. I love it. It's one of my go-to NFL resources during the offseason and during the year, truthfully. Jason runs overthecap.com, tweeted this morning. Teams with the highest percentage of players returning to the roster in 2025. Doesn't include practice squad players, so we're just looking at the active 53s. Teams with the highest percentage of players returning to their rosters in 2025. The Broncos are number 1 at 86%. The Packers are number 2 at 84.5%. The Bills number 3 at 84.2%. Lions at 4 at 80%. The Bengals at 5, 79.1%. The Bucks, Cowboys, Rams, Giants, and Commanders all round out the top 10. All of those teams, at least 75% of their roster or more, returning to the team in 2025 from last year. So those are the teams at the top end of the spectrum of having the most returning players. So the other end of the spectrum is which teams have the most roster turnover. And here are the teams with the least percentage of returning players. The Jets at 58% are number 1. And the Titans at 59.4% are number 2. The Vikings are number 3 at 61.7%. Raiders at 4, 62.1%. The 49ers at 5 at 62%. Dolphins, Jags, Browns, Chargers, Steelers round out the top 10. I just listed 20 of the 32 teams in the NFL. Producer Evan pays attention to the program. I just named 20 franchises. Were any of them the Arizona Cardinals?
I did not hear the Arizona Cardinals.
So the Arizona Cardinals didn't have the top 10 least returning players. They weren't with the Jets, Titans, Vikings, all those teams that we mentioned. And they also weren't on the other end of the spectrum, having the highest percentage of players returning to their roster. What does this prove? What did I share all of these numbers for? To tell you that Monty and JG and everybody involved with the Cardinals perfectly understood their roster. They understood that this roster was not good enough to win and make the playoffs, and they needed improvements, but it was not bad enough to where they needed major wholesale changes because they're in the middle. They're the 12 teams that aren't bringing back a large chunk of their roster, but they also don't have a ton of roster turnover. Look at the teams that are towards the top. The Packers, a playoff team a year ago. The Broncos, a playoff team a year ago. Bills, Lions, Bengals, Bucks, Cowboys. Other than the Bengals, those top 7, top 8, all playoff teams. The only team, there are 2 teams in the top 10 that were not playoff teams a year ago. The Bengals and the Giants. So the Giants are really the only outlier. Everybody else, a playoff team, or in the Bengals case, a team that just missed out on the playoffs, but still a really good team. Those bottom teams, the Jets, team that picked in the top 10. The Titans, the number 1 overall pick. Raiders, a top 10 selection. Jaguars, Browns, teams that picked in the top 10. The Arizona Cardinals read their team perfectly. They understand that they're not a team that can be set in their ways with their roster because the roster wasn't good enough last year. The roster was unable to get this team to the postseason. But they also understood, hey, we're not the Titans. We're not the Raiders. We're not the Jags. We're not the Browns. We're not the Jets. We've got pieces to build around. We just need to fill in some gaps. Let's use a house building analogy. The teams that kept their roster intact had the highest percentage of their roster returning. They love the house. They don't need to make any changes to the house. Has the perfect amount of bedrooms, has the perfect amount of bathrooms, has the good-sized yard, has the 2-car garage, has everything that you want. You may change a coat of paint here or there, but overall, you like the house. The teams with the least percentage of returning players, those teams, they needed to make a new bedroom. They needed to add an extension to the house. They didn't like the way the garage was set up. The yard didn't have a pool, so they wanted that to be put in. They needed to make changes to their house. The Arizona Cardinals needed to change out the kitchen countertops because they're old. They needed to upgrade the appliances because they were there when the house was first built. They needed to get a landscaper to come in and just tidy up the yard a little bit. The house wasn't perfect, but the house didn't need a construction company to come in and knock it down. That's a really hard thing to navigate as a franchise. It's really hard to pinpoint exactly where you are as a team, and I think the Cardinals landed the plane perfectly. They understood that they had a team that just barely missed out on hosting a playoff game and winning a division last year. It wasn't a fluke. They played well enough through the first 10 games of the season to control their own fate after their bye week. They just didn't have enough gas left in the tank. It wasn't a fluke that Kyler played the way that he played in the first half. It wasn't a fluke the way James Conner played, the way Trey McBride played, the way the defense played. They just ran out of gas. So what did this organization do this offseason? They made sure that they got the necessary reinforcements to make sure that there is gas left in the tank for all 17 games. Didn't need major wholesale changes, but understood that the status quo wasn't enough. Now, it's easy to say that. It's another thing to execute on it. And that's exactly what the Cardinals did. Josh Sweat, adding to a group that needed to improve. Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, added to a group that needed to improve. Drafting Will Johnson, adding depth to a group that desperately needed it. This was a team that understood exactly where they were, understood exactly what needed to be done, and then went out and executed on it. Are they right? Will it pan out? I think those are two different questions. I think they were right in their evaluation, that this team is closer to a playoff team than they are to a rebuild. That this team had the talent in some areas, was missing it in others, and if you made the right moves, if you made the right investments, you could have a team that we're talking about late in December into January that is in a playoff hunt. So they were right in their evaluation. Now they've got to execute on those results. They got to win those games early in the season. They have to, as we talked about when we played the win-loss game earlier this month. They got to find those wins early in the season because we know the struggles, the challenges that the back half of the schedule are going to give them. I think we both got them to double-digit wins when we did the win-loss game. I know I did. So the opportunity is there. The excuses don't exist. So Josh Sweat was a big move. Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell, all of those were big moves by the Arizona Cardinals. And I think we undersold how good of an offseason this was because it wasn't just the players that they brought in. It wasn't just the positions that they addressed, but it's their understanding of where they were at as a franchise. It was an understanding of where they finished last season and where they needed to get to, and understanding we don't need to make a ton of changes. We don't need to blow this thing up the way the Jets did, the way the Raiders did, the 49ers, the Dolphins, the Jaguars, the Browns did. We don't need to do what those teams did. But we also can't rest on our laurels like the Bills, Lions, Broncos, Packers, the way those teams did, because those teams didn't make a ton of changes. The Cardinals found themselves right in the middle, in between doing nothing and doing everything. And you know what? That was the sweet spot that this team desperately needed to find, and I think they found it. 100 days to go until the start of the NFL regular season. 100 days from now will be the first football game that counts. Thursday night. So we've got what? Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday night?
Thursday night, Friday night,
Sunday
night.
So no Saturday. Man, NFL's missing an opportunity there. Opening week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just play Monday. Just
We get college football Saturday.
5 days in a row, just all NFL. Just give me all the games. Play a game on the moon.
Well, now with new conferences in college football, we do get a decent game every week. So the stinkers in week 1 and week 2 aren't as prevalent. So hopefully we can get some good week 2 in the NCAA.
Yeah. College football, they put out, I saw the college football 26 poster today.
Getting into a leftover story. Doing the show before the show.
I apologize. I will not do the show before the show. I will tell you, 480-864-1060 is the phone number. I will take that as my cue to tease us to go into the next break. I also need to tease us to go into the next break because both computer monitors in here blue screened. So I'm going to need to get IT back in here immediately because I have no control over anything in here. So
we've been having some issues.
We've been going through it. The stream computer is doing great. We're live up on YouTube. Everything's going well over there. Everything else in front of me just completely went off there during the break. So 480-864-1060 is the phone number. When we come back, Ryne Nelson certainly should have a hold on the rotation spot. So what should the Diamondbacks do with Eduardo Rodriguez? That's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
9 Inch Nails. Live at Footprint Center, September 16th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails, live in Phoenix. Peel It Back World Tour 2025.
Make the most out of summer with a local Arizona getaway at Hilton Phoenix Resort at the Peak. The Hilton Phoenix Resort is offering an exclusive local discount of 20% off your staycation. All suite accommodations. Bring your family and enjoy the 4-acre water park. Full-service spa and fitness center. Arizona residents get up to 20% off the best available rates. Go to HiltonPhoenixResortAtThePeak.com to book your stay. Proof of residence required.
Hey, Mike Barrow from Barrow's Pizza here. The way we see it, family isn't just a cherished thing, it's everything. For us, that starts with our Grandma Angelina's family recipes brought over from Sarconi, Italy, like our sweet and tangy pizza sauce, 100% real mozzarella, and our fresh dough made every morning. And because every Barrow's is family-owned, never franchised, we personally make sure the quality's there at every location. So stop in and give Barrow's Pizza a try. It's authentic food from our family to yours.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Every summer it happens. You get a grainy clip from training camp, hits social media, wide receiver makes a diving grab, rookie quarterback threads the needle, and suddenly the hype train is barreling down the tracks. Let's take a deep breath and remember training camp is not the regular season. Remember Romeo Doubs in Green Bay? Camp reports had pegged him as a breakout star, looked like a future Pro Bowler. Fast forward to today, he hasn't come close to that kind of production. On the flip side, just weeks after being drafted, Jamar Chase struggled with drops in Bengals training camp, prompting social media to question whether Cincinnati had made a massive mistake. A few months later, he was coming off one of the most dominant receiving years in history. Training camp matters, but not that much. These guys are learning new systems, adjusting to new teammates, and often shaking off the rust. So before we crown the next star or write off a future All-Pro, remember, it's May. It's not overreacting. Yeah. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. If you played pickleball in regular sneakers, you know you can pay the price. They don't cut it. And Todd found this out the hard way. We have this great sponsor, Tyrell. They make the best pickleball shoes. So one day Todd is playing pickleball and he forgot his Tyrell pickleball shoes. Well, you know what happened? He got hurt. He was playing in some fancy different shoes that aren't meant for pickleball, and he learned a lesson. Tyrell has everything you need to keep your feet cool. They're tough. They're lightweight. They're so solid on your feet, and you're going to wear and tear on the court, and they're ready to go. Every detail is built to help you play better. Tyrell pickleball shoes. If you want to play longer, feel better, and stop sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrellPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrell pickleball shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrell pickleball shoes, the best pickleball shoes, purpose-built for pickleball.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back in lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Have no fear. Computer's back up and running. We're okay. I've got all my buttons back. I mean, the computer for a second there, we went bust out. It was gone. I didn't have anything available. I mean, the one screen was entirely blue. The other screen just turned off. And this is how I play drops. We went bust out. I mean,
The alignment.
And both computers are back.
Both computers are back. Yes.
Wow, together they're back.
They're back.
So you would call them
The alignment.
I would
aligned.
Say, I would say that they were aligned. For a moment there, the computers
schmammered.
They were not operating correctly at all. But no, we're back. We're back. We can spin the wheel. I mean, I've got everything at my disposal.
Did you fix the computers?
No.
No.
They just restarted.
Oh. I was gonna say, so you're a tech guy now?
Huge nerd.
No. I had nothing to do with. I had nothing. Honestly, I was petrified because I'm a tech guy. I've built computers before. Anytime there's a tech problem in the house.
Built a computer.
Yeah, I ordered the parts and you put it together, and yeah, I've done this before multiple times, actually twice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little hobby.
Huge nerd.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. And so, no, I tend to be very tech savvy, and I tend to know how. I mean, there have been times where I've had to go in there and help you with something after the show, and I know how to work the buttons. There are certain things in this building, radio-wise, that I won't touch, and the automation system that makes the spots run for.
Oh yeah, that feels like a. Yeah.
I am not making any mistakes when it comes to that. And
No
so when
chance.
that computer went down, I'm like, I'm not touching a thing. But it was very much the turn it off and turn it back on. It just restarted itself, and you got to do something. That's all it did, and we're back. But for a second, we went bust out. It was gone. But we're back. When Eduardo Rodriguez is back, what should the Arizona Diamondbacks do with their left-handed starting pitcher? Hour number one, we laid out the case. This is Ryne Nelson's spot. When you look at the rotation, we classify this when we talk about guys and starting and sitting. I use the Sharpie pen pencil test. Are you writing the guy's name in Sharpie? Are you writing it in pen? Or is it written in pencil and it can be erased? Meaning, how much of a hold do they have on their spot? Corbin Burns, Sharpie. Zach Allen, Sharpie. Merrill Kelly, Sharpie. Brendan Pfaadt, Sharpie. Those four guys not going anywhere. Eduardo Rodriguez, when we started the season, we put the name in pencil. And we said, 10 starts. I'll give you a third of the season to prove that we should upgrade you from pencil to pen. That it should be a little more solidified. We've gone backwards because I want to erase Eduardo Rodriguez's name off this list, and I want to put in pen, close to putting it in Sharpie, Ryne Nelson's name. But those moves don't happen in a vacuum because Eduardo Rodriguez is going to come back. So what do you then do in that world? And this is the tough part. When you give a guy the type of money that the Diamondbacks gave Eduardo Rodriguez. And they gave him the commitment of a 4-year deal that we are in year 2 of. We're not even at the halfway point of Eduardo Rodriguez's deal with the Diamondbacks. And so this is the risk you run when you give guys these bigger, longer contracts as a starting pitcher, because let's face it, there's not a clean, easy thing for you to do. If this is a guy that you signed to a 1-year deal, you can DFA him, you can eat the money, you can move on. If it's somebody that you signed to a minor league deal or somebody that had options, you could send them down. Again, the clean, easy way to manage your roster. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be on this roster when he comes back. They're going to need to find a role for him. And so what do? Does he just take the place of Ryne Nelson in the bullpen as the long man, as the swing guy, as the spot starter, and you keep him stretched out just in case Corbin Burns needs a blow, Zach Gallen needs a blow? I mean, so far, 3 guys have made every turn through for this team. Gallen, Kelly, Brendan Pfaadt. Those 3 guys have made every turn through so far. Everybody else has missed time. Burns skipped a start. Eduardo Rodriguez has now missed 2 starts, probably looking like it's going to be a 3rd. So throughout the course of the season, this stuff's going to pop up, and you're going to need a 6th starter. So is that the easy solution here? Is that the easy thing to do? Well, it's not that easy, because Eduardo Rodriguez, is he really designed to be in that role? Is he really designed to be a long man? Is he good enough as a long man? Is he comfortable enough in that role to be able to give you what you need while also being stretched out? I mean, he's been a starter all of his career. Was a starter when they signed him 2 years ago, was a starter for this team all of last year. I wonder when the last time, if ever, he was used in this type of role or was used as a reliever. Because it's probably, if it's happened at the big league level, it was a long time ago. And so you have a guy and you want to put him in a role and you're paying him a lot of money, and he might not be that comfortable in that role. He might not be best suited for that role. And we know the bullpen's a challenge right now. So do you want to waste a spot for your bullpen on a guy who isn't really comfortable and suited to be down there? And do you want to know my fear in explaining all of this to all of you? The easy thing is to put Eduardo Rodriguez back in the rotation and to put Ryne Nelson back into the bullpen. That's the easy answer here. Ryne Nelson's already shown that he can be that guy. You don't know if Eduardo Rodriguez can be that guy. So the easy, clean answer when Erod is cleared and ready to go is to flip him back. I just don't think you can do that. I don't think you should do that. That's the easy answer. The easy thing is Ryne Nelson, hey, great job. 3 starts, sub-2 ERA. Did great against the Mets and the Dodgers. 6 2/3 scoreless against the Pirates. We appreciate it, but even that's not good enough to get your rotation spot. Sorry, bud. Sorry, you're back to being a long man. But hey, stay ready, because when somebody else needs some rest, we're going to go back to you because you're good. You're just not that good. That's the message you send if you do this. I do not envy Mike Hazen and Torey Lovullo right now. Now, it looks like they're going to get another turn through the rotation before they have to make this decision. So we're going to get to see another start from Ryne Nelson. But here's the risk you run, because if he goes out there and he pitches well again his next time out, now the sample size grows for Ryne Nelson. Now you have even more reason to keep him in the rotation. That spot, he's way more entitled to with each passing start that he makes if he looks as good as he did last night against Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. I'm in the business of winning baseball games. I'm not in the business of making guys feel good. I'm not in the business of looking at contract amounts. I'm in the business of winning baseball games. And right now, to win baseball games, Ryne Nelson needs to be in my rotation because he's one of my 5 best, but also he helps out a bullpen right now that is taxed, that is not executing very well, and that I need to limit the amount of outs I ask my bullpen to get every single night. This is a really, really hard decision. It shouldn't be a hard decision. It's easy. Nelson, you're the 5th starter. Erod, you're going to the bullpen. We're going to figure this out. which is exactly what they did with Jordan Montgomery at one point last year. So it's not like they don't have any experience with this. They took a guy they were paying over $20 million, and he couldn't hack it as a starter for them in the second half of last year, and they stuck him in the bullpen. He was a long man. That's what you need to do here with Eduardo Rodriguez. He needs to go be the long guy, your spot starter. He needs to have the exact Ryne Nelson role because Ryne Nelson has pitched well enough to earn this spot. Guy with a sub-2 ERA, you're going to tell him that that's not good enough to earn a rotation spot? A sub-2 ERA? No, 6 2/3 scoreless? Handling the Mets and the Dodgers lineups the way that he has? You're going to tell him after the second half that he had last year and what he's done everything you've asked him to do, and he's excelled at it. And then when given a chance, the door opens up and he has a chance to show to you that he deserves the rotation spot. He doesn't flounder, he thrives. That's the type of guy I want taking the ball every fifth day. That's the type of guy that helps me turn this around when I've got a 500 baseball team that's trying to crawl out of being on the outside looking in the wild card race. What message do you send if when Erod comes back, you just flip him back? That's what I worry about. I worry about sending that message. I worry about us seeing the news that Eduardo Rodriguez is going to make the next start and Ryne Nelson gets moved back to the pen. I think that would be a mistake. I think you're going to lose a lot of fans that way. And the message that you're sending to that room is what? You have to be perfect to earn a spot? Ryne Nelson is the better starter. He's a better pitcher than Eduardo Rodriguez. It's literally that simple, that easy for me. I want the 5 best. Every day, I need one of my 5 best taking the ball. And Ryne Nelson is one of my 5 best. So Eduardo Rodriguez, sorry, but you are now the long man. And the way baseball works, you're going to get another chance. And you're going to get the same chance that Ryne Nelson got. What are you going to do with it? That's the way that I would look at it. All these guys aren't making every start the rest of the way. So, Erod, you're going to get the same chance at some point that Ryne Nelson got. What are you going to do with it? Because he's excelled. What are you going to do with it? 480-864-1060, the phone number. You want to join us? Or you can chat with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. When we come back, Kyler Murray is under a ton of pressure this season. And most of you probably think he's going to crumble under that pressure. Have we spoken too soon? That's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
This Memorial Day, it's mania at Santan Ford. Employee pricing for everyone. You pay what we pay. Get $9,000 off MSRP on new 24 Ford Super Duties. How about America's best-selling truck, the F-150, on sale for up to $8,700 off MSRP. Employee pricing at Santan Ford means you pay what we pay. Expeditions, Explorers, Broncos are all thousands off MSRP. Shop the madness. Shop the employee pricing in person or online. Santan 202 Freeway in Val Vista and Gilbert or santanford.com. Going on now. Restrictions may apply. See Santan Ford for details.
Nitro Circus is back with the all-new Off the Rails Tour. World-class daredevils and FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and more. Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, and never-been-done showdowns. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Visit Ticketmaster.com.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner at A1 Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. Call A1 Garage Door Service, and you'll be smiling today.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one. Dive into summer style and savings during the Memorial Day event at Living Spaces. Enjoy cozy lounging with sofas starting at $350, easy resting with queen beds starting at $195, and special meals with dining sets starting at $295. You'll even find outdoor sets for alfresco fun starting at $595. Plus, pay no interest for 24 months on select purchases with your good credit and enjoy free shipping as soon as next day. Celebrate the start of summer and shop the Memorial Day event only at Living Spaces.
Living Spaces.
Looking to sell your home? Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I love making it easy to sell your house. I'll personally come and give you a cash offer the same day we meet, and I'll beat any other offer. It really is that easy to sell your home, and no need to clean or fix anything. I'll buy it in as-is condition. Call me, Andrew the Home Buyer, today to get your same-day cash offer. Visit AndrewTheHomebuyer.com.
Today we celebrate all of our hard work, late nights, and the most craveable Raising Cane's chicken fingers and cane sauce that got you through it. So get out there and commemorate this moment with a grad plush puppy, because you've earned it. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Have we spoken too soon about Kyler Murray's ceiling as a quarterback? Welcome back into the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. We've got you till 1 o'clock. We'll hand things off to the Jim Rome Show starting at 1. Big story in ESPN today, celebrating that we are 100 days out from the start of the NFL season. And Ben Solak over at ESPN had a 100 things for 100 days away for the NFL season, and had some bold predictions, or had some, we'll call them bold predictions, and joked that don't aggregate these predictions unless they end up being right, but had a stat that we kicked around in the morning meeting, and it turned into the topic that we're going to talk about right now. And here's what they had to say about the Cardinals. This is the only time the Cardinals are mentioned at all in these 100 things. Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray has 82 career starts without a playoff win, which feels like a lot, but is only tied for 29th out of all quarterbacks since 1950. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert is just behind him with 79. One of the two will get their first postseason win this season, maybe both. And then in parentheses, Ben says, okay, probably just one, end quote. So the bold prediction, one of Kyler Murray or Justin Herbert, who have a ton of starts. Kyler with 82, Herbert with 79. They're going to get their first postseason win. And they're going to add to this number because they've got 17 games, 17 more starts before they get to the postseason. So that number is going to grow for both these quarterbacks, but one of them is going to be able to say that they've done it, that they've got that postseason win. And I think there are a lot of people, some may be the producer of the program that you're listening to, that are not in on Kyler Murray, that think Kyler Murray is not going anywhere, not going to be able to win that big game for the Cardinals. You are openly not a Kyler Murray fan.
No, I would say I'm one of his biggest critics.
You're a doubter? You're a
doubter.
As the kids say, you're a hater?
I wouldn't call myself a hater.
No, you're a hater.
I'm rooting for him. I just don't think he can do it.
And so that led us to this conversation because he has 82 career starts without a playoff win. If he makes all 17 starts, that, doing some quick math, gets us to 99 career starts before his first playoff win. And you may think, that's a big sample size. That is a sample size that should tell you this is not a franchise quarterback, Chris. You should be done. You should be over. They've wasted too much of their time. But what if I told you that there are some great quarterbacks who've had more than 99 starts before their first playoff win? How about Peyton Manning, who had 112 regular season starts before his first playoff win? How about Andy Dalton, 167 starts before his first playoff win? Kirk Cousins, 163 regular season starts. Matt Stafford, 182 regular season starts before winning a playoff game. Carson Palmer, guy who played here, 159 regular season starts before he came here and won his first playoff game. And Kyler Murray, if he goes through this whole season and the Cardinals get to a playoff game, will have 99 career starts. Now, there's one name on this list that we put together, Drew Brees, who had 90 regular season starts before winning a playoff game. But you see what this list tells you? This list tells you perhaps you should be a little more patient. Perhaps you should allow this season to play out, because you may think Kyler Murray can't win the big game, and you may end up being right. And so far, up until this point, if you hold that position, you are correct. I still think it is too early to make that statement definitively. I think it is still too early to say that we know for sure he can't win a playoff game. Do I think he's a franchise quarterback the way Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow? I definitively say he can't be that. But do I think he can be Jared Goff? Do I think he can be Matt Stafford? Do I think he can be, let's pick another journeyman quarterback. Could he be Kirk Cousins? Yeah, I think Kyler Murray can be that.
And I'm not saying playoff wins are the end-all, be-all, because like Daniel Jones is a playoff win, and Daniel Jones stinks. But it is a good litmus test of, can you win? And are teams able to win with X at quarterback? And I think you look at Kyler Murray and you say, yeah, it's possible when he's playing well. He is a top 12 quarterback, and winning playoff games, you don't need to be Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. That helps. Certainly helps.
Does help.
But you don't need to be those guys.
Now, if we go through the season and this list grows to 99 and he gets another playoff chance and he fails in that playoff chance, and now we have that Rams wild card game and another game on the list, then yeah, you now have a resume that tells you a specific story. Now, if you don't make the playoffs altogether, now let me just make one clarification to this, because I have said in the past that if this team doesn't make the playoffs this year, that you are going to move on from Kyler. And I still believe that. If you don't make the playoffs, you're moving on from Kyler, because this organization, the GM and the coach, didn't draft him. So they're going to want a fresh start. But that doesn't mean Kyler can't go someplace else and succeed.
No.
In a different system, he might be able to break through and get that playoff win.
Look about it this way. We talked about Carson Palmer.
Right.
Carson Palmer couldn't get over the hump.
In Cincinnati. Or in Vegas.
Oakland at the time.
Oh, yeah, Oakland, sorry.
But then came here and got over the hump. And it even took 2-3 years here. It wasn't right away.
Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals need to make the playoffs this year. Now, if Kyler and the Cardinals win a playoff game, this is why I love this conversation. What's the excuse going to be then? Because all I've been told is that he can't win that game. All I've been told is that he's not the franchise quarterback, that he isn't somebody that you can win with. Well, if he does, then what does the excuse become? See, that's why it's easier to just say he hasn't been it so far, and he's really got one more chance to prove it. And if he doesn't, the team is going to move on, and he'll have to try to prove it someplace else.
It depends what the game looks like.
I've said this from the get-go.
What if it's the Jags-Bills game from, remember years ago when the Jags got the AFC title game, and they played the Bills in Wild Card Weekend, and they win that game, and they score 10 points. The game ends 10-3. That's not good enough. It's not good enough for me to be like, oh, you're bringing back Kyler.
Kurt Warner walked off the field with a lead against the Steelers in the Super Bowl.
But they got to the Super Bowl.
What I'm saying is they didn't lose the game because of Kurt Warner.
No, yeah.
If Kyler Murray walks off the field and he's led the team on the drive that gives them the lead with under a minute to go, and the defense gives it up, I'm not putting that game on Kyler.
No.
I am not saying that you can't win with Kyler Murray. He walked off the field with the lead. He did his job. So the context absolutely matters. So I'm not willing to say, and Michael has said this a bunch anytime we have this conversation, or one of our P1s over on YouTube. He says that they have to win a playoff game or Kyler and Drew Petzing both need to go. I have never been comfortable going that far in this conversation. I have been comfortable saying if they don't make the playoffs, they're just going to make a change because it's been 7 years. It's time to make a change. But if they make the playoffs and they lose 35-31 and Kyler throws for 275 yards and multiple touchdowns and doesn't turn the ball over and they lose because the opposing team has the ball last, am I really going to come in here on that Monday and say, you know what? It's time to move on from Kyler Murray. That's not going to be the narrative on the Monday after.
No, how many people are kicking Drew Brees over the Minnesota Miracle?
If we come in here and they get blown out in a playoff game and Kyler throws 3 picks and they're not competitive and the offense stinks, then you betcha we're going to play the daily special and we're going to talk about this team needing to make a quarterback change. How we get there matters. And the reason why we brought up these numbers to you is the story mentioned that he's had 82 career starts without a playoff win. But to show you that, do you think they were saying that in Indy about Peyton Manning? And I'm not comparing Kyler Murray to Peyton Manning, please. But all these quarterbacks on this list, it took them a little bit. It took them a while to get their first playoff win. And so all I'm asking is, you know what? This is the last season. This is the make or break year for Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray can take this team to the playoffs and he can check that box. And then if he wins the playoff game, he can remove this from the conversation. And then you can stop. You don't have the excuse anymore that he can't win the big one, that he can't win a playoff game because he would have done it. Now, if he doesn't do it, or more importantly, if they don't make the playoffs, then yeah, we can have a conversation about his future. But I got to see how it looks like. And I know that there are people that have been long done with Kyler Murray. There are people that probably want him on our, what are we calling this? The Schubert ship list. Getting these guys out of town. People want Kyler Murray on that list. Getting him out of town. I'm not there yet. I will be at the end of the season. I will be if they don't make the playoffs. I will be if they get to the playoffs and Kyler has another dud, an absolute stinker, a clunker that leads to them getting eliminated. Yeah, I can get there with you. But here we are. I'm going to let the season play out, and I'm going to let the results dictate where the future for this team should be.
Let me ask you this question. Let's say he breaks every record. He doesn't turn the ball over as much. He throws for 4,000 yards. All of his personal stuff. He has his best season. They go out there, and he gives you a stinker in the playoffs. Does that change the conversation?
I don't think. I think the two things that Kyler Murray cannot afford, missing the playoffs entirely and a clunker in the postseason.
Yeah.
He can survive making the playoffs and losing a close game. He cannot survive missing the playoffs entirely, and he can't survive getting to the postseason and being the reason why the Cardinals lose.
You can't have another wild card weekend in the Rams.
And what you just said there, you used a very key word, another. Because now it will be 2. If it was the first time, maybe you can get away with it. But now you'd have 2 of those games on your resume. I don't see how you get up from that. 480-864-1060 is the phone number. When we come back, we've got the leftovers, all the stories that we didn't get to, or I tried to apparently sneak a leftover stories in a little earlier in the program, so I apologize. We'll get to that story and all the others next on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2025 live in Phoenix. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, October 7th. With special guest, Amble. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The #1 album, Unreal Unearthed, is available everywhere. For more, visit Hosier.com.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like unloading the grocery bags from your car and you decide you can get all the bags in one trip.
I can do it.
So you load up all 14 grocery bags on both arms. Sure, you can't feel your fingers and forgot to take your house keys out.
Almost there.
But you never put down one bag and you made it inside all in one trip, like the bag-carrying boss you are.
Yes.
Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Pool season is coming in hot. Before you make a splash, assign a water watcher to help keep kids safe. A water watcher is a capable adult who knows how to swim and perform CPR in case of emergency. Make sure they put away any distractions and actively monitor everyone in the group while around water. After everyone is done swimming, water watchers should scan the bottom of the pool and close and lock the pool gate behind them. Ready for more water safety tips? Visit srp.net/pool.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, wrapping up things, KTUS AM 1060. Tuesday edition of the show. Chris Schubert with you. We'll get to producer Evan here in a second. But hey, if you're listening on the KTUS AM 1060 app or you're streaming us on KTUS1060.com, you can listen for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks when they take on the Washington Nationals Saturday, May 31st at Chase Field. It's Domo's night at Chase Field. Get your Geraldo Perdomo bobble on May 31st, courtesy of Chaz Roberts. So we've got your tickets. If you win, you want to get the bobblehead, you got to get there early and beat everybody else. We don't have a secret in for you to get the bobblehead. We've just got your chance to win the tickets for the day that they are giving out the bobblehead at the ballparks. You got to be listening on the app or streaming us online and be registered and logged in while you are listening to be entered in to win. So you just look at the contests when you're on the app and you can get yourself all signed up for that. The leftovers, all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. Producer Evan has them for us. Take it away, my friend.
Okay, so we officially got a picture of NCAA football's cover.
Wow, it's the first I've heard of this today.
Yes, actually, I thought we were going to talk about it earlier in the program, but
it
turns out we didn't.
Leftover
yes. And we had 2 kind of local names make an appearance on there.
Sam Levitt, Kenny Dillingham. They're not front and center, but they are in the center of the.
Yeah, no, very much in the center.
They're not the guys that are closest up in the photo, but they are right there in the
It's
center.
not Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith, but they're in.
And you know that it's Kenny and Sam Levitt. So that's really cool. That's awesome.
And they're throwing up the forks. I mean,
it's great.
It's perfect for growing this and activating the valley and all of that. Like, that is awesome.
This is where the success that you had a year ago now carries over. If they don't have that success, Sam Levitt and Kenny Dillingham are not prominently featured the way that they are on that cover. And guess what? You may think, why are these guys talking about a stupid video game? This stuff matters.
Yeah.
There are kids playing football right now that are going to play this video game, that are going to see ASU prominently featured, and it might impact whether or not they go there, along with the results, along with everything that Kenny and Graham Rossini and everybody over there at ASU is doing to rebuild the athletic program, specifically when it comes to football, but to rebuild athletics over there. And this stuff matters.
I think that having this and having a team that's fun to play with in that video game, you're only going to draw more eyes to your games. And then it makes recruiting that much easier. I'm not saying it's the end all be all. I'm just saying that it helps for people to have an understanding of, hey, Arizona State's going to be a fun team this year like they were last year, and putting guys on the cover, having them have a high overall in a video game, being fun to play with, those things matter.
I mean, how many people probably picked Oregon because all the cool jerseys that they had, and you'd be able to play with them in the video game and wear those cool jerseys?
Yeah. So we talked about the story on ESPN, and we referenced Kyler Murray with it. There's a lot of good in this story. I want to touch on a couple things.
You want to go through all 99 other things in the story because we only mentioned the one of the 100. You want to go through the other 99?
Yeah, so I have 99 things.
I do not have time for this, but let's give it a shot. Go ahead.
Well, I just have a few things that I wanted to point out. So the 3 most improved teams, as well as the 3 least improved teams.
Okay.
The 3 most improved teams going into the season are the Las Vegas Raiders, the Chicago Bears, and the New England Patriots. 3 interesting teams. I think the Raiders are the most, probably one of the more improved teams. And I know you're not a Geno believer, and I'm not the biggest Geno guy either. But he's certainly not Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, so there is an upgrade at that position.
We don't have a defense.
The head coach is better.
I know, but we hired a 73-year-old head coach. We're in a win-now window, and we don't have a win-now roster. And
But doesn't mean they didn't improve. It's not the argument.
They improved. Are they the most improved? They're not one of the 3 most improved teams, are they?
They are. It's Raiders, Bears, Patriots.
No. I know that the article says they're one of the 3 most improved
teams. Oh, you're
teams.
asking me.
I'm asking you, are they actually one of the 3 most improved teams?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
The Bears are improved because the Bears actually have a functioning offensive-minded head coach.
Well, I mean, they got better as soon as Eberflus got out the door.
Exactly. So they're immediately the most improved because they actually are going to have a functioning offense.
Yeah, and the Patriots got better. They added receiver. Same thing. The Patriots are, to me, the most improved football team in the league.
Did good with their head coach hire.
Yep.
They supported Drake May, I think, appropriately by investing into the offense. I'm trying to look at other teams that I think are
That's what I'm
improved.
saying. Like I could go through all 32 teams, and I just don't think you could tell me that there's a team or 3 teams that are more improved than the Raiders this year.
More improved than the Raiders are. Man, the Raiders won 4 games last year. Are they going to win?
It's Tennessee, Jacksonville.
No, I know.
Like the guys that picked at the top of the draft.
They're not. They are improved. They're not the most improved.
No.
Maybe I'm just not in. You know what it is? I'm just not in on just Geno and Pete Carroll just paired up again. I'm just not. I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah. No, but they are far. Like they're going to. How many teams do you believe are 3 wins better?
I'm going to answer your question with a question. Of all of the teams that finished in last in their division last year.
Okay.
Which teams have the best chance to not finish last next year? The Patriots, I think, are a candidate because the Jets are going to take a step backwards. Are the Browns a candidate? No. Tennessee, not a candidate. I think they're a year away. The Raiders, they were 6 wins behind the Broncos. 6. They're not going to make a 6-win improvement from a year ago.
They might finish last in that division, but they could still win 7 games.
Oh, so they win 3 more games. The Bears.
Okay, that's not the question. Okay, how many teams got 3 wins better, though?
I think the Bears are 3 wins better.
I agree. They're on the list.
I think there's a world where the Cardinals are 3 wins better. They had 8 last year. I think they can get to 11. The schedule in the first half of the year is
Yes, I don't think you can sit here and argue they're more improved than the Raiders are.
I'm just answering the question that you asked me about 3 wins better. I think the Cardinals can be 3 wins better. Would you be surprised if the 49ers went 9-8?
Yes, I would be surprised.
You'd be how about this? You would be shocked if they
not
went
shocked, but I would be surprised if the Niners went 9-8.
Because they went 6-11 last year.
I do not think they're a good football team, and I'll stand by that. And I think we talked about this before. Stand by what I said. Their little run is over, and I no chance.
The Dolphins went 8-9 last year. Could they win 11 games?
No. I just don't think the quarterback will stay healthy.
The Browns might win 6.
They already have a lot of problems. The Browns could win 6 games,
which would be a 3-win improvement over a year.
Yeah, congratulations, Browns.
You know what? You've convinced me. Maybe the Raiders aren't. Maybe they're more improved than I thought they were.
The least improved teams: the Eagles, the Steelers.
I mean, that's a little unfair.
And the Seahawks.
I mean, that's a little unfair. They won the Super Bowl. They don't need to do a whole lot of anything.
The Seattle. Very interesting offseason for Seattle. I stand by this. Seattle had the craziest offseason, and I feel the same exact way I did about them at the start of last year.
That's going to do it for us here on this edition of the program. Jim Rum's coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya!
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.